What's up guys, it's Average Ol making average content for the average viewer, and today I've gone back to Battlefield 1 for a video, and I've got to say it's been amazing fun. I haven't played this game for well over a year, but before it was my go-to day-to-day game. I loved it. I'd probably go as far to say that during the lead up for Battlefield 1, it was one of the most hyped I've ever been for a game. It really was a testament to just how well DICE can run a marketing campaign when they want to. It's just a shame their more recent attempt wasn't up to the same standard. I mean seriously, I've heard people talk about Prison and make it sound better than the PR team for Battlefield 5. But that's not what this video is about today. Like many other people, I am very bored of bitching and moaning about Battlefield 5, so I wanted to make a bit more of a positive video for a change. Before we go any further, I'd love to try and see if we can hit 40 likes on this video. We absolutely smashed the last goal of 30 likes, so why not aim higher? I know, I'm dreaming big. Also, I'm actually really interested to know what countries you're all watching me from, so please let me know down in the comments where on earth you are. One more thing, if you're new here and you like this content, then hey, why not subscribe? So Battlefield 1 had so many great mechanics and weapons in it that it was quite tricky to pick out one to make a topic for this video. But there is one thing in particular that I think Battlefield 1 did exceptionally well in my opinion, and that is the sniping. And not just the sniping, today I want to talk to you about the Martini-Henry. Now, as many of you know from my previous videos, I'm far from an ace shot with a sniper rifle. I reckon if I had a competition with Ray Charles and Stevie Wonder, I'd be hard pushed to come even second. With that being said, I found regardless of my sniping skill, or therefore lack of, Battlefield 1 was always extremely satisfying when it came to sniping. I'm sure you guys are aware, but I'll go through it again for those of you who aren't. Battlefield 1 introduced something called a sweet spot mechanic that meant that every individual rifle had its own optimal range for where the user would be able to get one-shot kills to the torso. This means that for a novice sniper like myself, if you could nail your positioning and judge distance well, then it negates some of the need to get that juicy headshot. But honestly, whatever sniper you use and whether you get that headshot or not, it was so satisfying. So I decided that I would just go straight in with the big boy, the soul crusher, the cannon that is the Martini-Henry. When the game first came out, I remember I was getting killed all the time by it. Like every 5 deaths was from one of these guns. So naturally I grinded the scout class harder than a single mum stripper whose rent is due. And when the big day finally came, I put that gun in my loadout and I was all ready to start blowing fools up. Blowing them up. God, I've really got to work on my punctuation on these scripts. But anyway, what I discovered when I started using the gun was that I sucked at it. Like, honestly, I could not hit a damn thing. The thing with the Martini-Henry was, it is extremely powerful, offering you a really good one-shot kill potential, but the downside was that you have to reload every bullet individually, meaning that if you miss that first shot, trying to get a follow-up shot was harder than Trump is in a builder's merchant looking at all the different types of bricks. So for ages I left it, thinking it was just an overrated piece of trash. That is, however, until I realised a very strange mechanic to do with the bolt-action sniper rifles when you didn't use them without a scope, or the infantry version. And that was that they have some of the strongest aim assist that I've ever experienced in an online shooter. If you get it right, it's honestly like people have little magnets in their head, and every time you tap that left trigger, you would just pop onto them like a magnet. Sorry it's late and I couldn't think of a better simile there. Now obviously I realise that this mechanic is less than ideal for some people, as I can imagine that some people might say that it's a bit scrubby or newbie, but for average people like Average Ol, it's like a moth to a flame. Once I got used to this quickscope-esque style of shooting, I was having so much fun. Like I have a clip on my Xbox of me just lying down with an SMLE infantry just quickscoping into smoke and I get like 5 kills. It's brilliant. Now obviously, I don't condone people abusing game mechanics, but at the same time, it's rare for me to feel like this much of a sniping god. I reckon people must have gotten overexcited with it and started to think that they could join some massive sniping clan and quit their jobs. Sorry kiddo, anyone can do it. So needless to say, when I booted up Battlefield 1 for the first time in ages, this was the first thing I wanted to do. And yeah, it was still so much fun. I will say though that there are some huge differences between Battlefield 1 and 5, and one of them is definitely the movement. I'm not saying that Battlefield 1 had bad movement at all, but it really did highlight just how smooth and sleek it is in Battlefield 5. I found that quite often I was trying to slide and dive onto my side like I would do in Battlefield 5, but I was unable, which to be honest is really nice to actually remind myself that there are more positive sides to Battlefield 5. Another thing about Battlefield 1 that hit me straight away is the atmosphere. For a game that is nearly 3 years old, the graphics are absolutely beautiful. From the mud on your gun to your teammate getting blown up just next to you. Couple this with the much darker and grittier feel of this game and it really makes for some super exciting and immersive moments. Times where you and a few teammates are ducking in and out of cover with explosions going off in all directions and then all of your teammates get brutally murdered whilst you're left on your own. I really like something out of a nightmare. And it's beautiful. One thing I miss most from this game is going to bed after a long play session, still hearing those horrifying sounds of guns and bombs and wondering if I've actually done some psychological damage to myself. Battlefield 1 honestly is a testimony to how well video games can invoke these feelings and totally immerse you with their worlds. Anyway, back to sniping. One more thing that I didn't realise I would miss so much is the spotting. It is so nice to be able to spot someone with just the press of a button. And I know that Battlefield games have had some stick in the past because they ended up being like a bloody Dorito shooting game, but I really think that having these spotting mechanics means that the action is a lot more fast paced and as a result the larger maps feel full and alive. This means that playing with the Martini-Henry I was encouraged to play very aggressive and get right up into the thick of it. And armed with my cheap tactic of what I'm going to refer to as pop shooting, it led to some really fun and exciting plays. The thing is, I did die a fair amount, but I felt that every death I had was well justified, and I wasn't getting angry because I wasn't being killed by someone doing their best impression of a log, or because of a bug that meant I fell through the bloody ground. Even if I only got one kill every 2 minutes, the weight of the gun and the sound of that shot connecting was just so goddamn gratifying, it made it all worthwhile. I've seen some people compare the Martini-Henry to the Boys AT rifle, but if I'm being honest, it really is a chalk and cheese comparison. Yeah, I can kind of get where they're coming from, as they are both highly powerful sniper rifles, but in my opinion, the Martini-Henry is just so much better. For a start, it isn't just a one-shot kill anywhere under 100 meters, which means that unlike the Boys AT, there is actually a bit more of a skill flaw. And as well as this, you don't have to go prone to use it, which encourages you to be more aggressive in your playstyle, and all in all, I just find it a great gun to use. Everything about the gun is just so crisp. When it fires, it sounds chunky and meaty like it should, and the reload animation is smoother than an Instagram model's chest. All in all, I think the Martini-Henry has really stood up well over time, and I've thoroughly enjoyed using it. Which brings me nicely to my final point. Battlefield 1 has aged beautifully. It really doesn't play like a 3-year-old game. If you were to compare it side by side to Call of Duty World War II, which came out at about the same time, the differences are crazy. I honestly wouldn't be disappointed if this game released in this state today. It truly is one of the most authentic feeling shooters I have ever played, and I really believe that it will be remembered as such in years to come. Everything about it just feels polished and smooth, and it's an absolute joy to play. So yeah, I think I will make a few more videos on this game. For the first time in ages, I turned off my Xbox to start work on the video, and the whole time I was editing through my footage, I just wanted to hop straight back on and rediscover everything about this game that I loved from the first time round. I know it's an old game and a lot of people have already made loads of videos on it, but I think that because I've been enjoying it this much, I was able to translate that into my videos. And I'll say it again, I've had more fun on this game in the few hours I've played it than I've had on Battlefield 5 in the last 2 to 3 weeks. It's such a shame, but honestly it's true. Moving forward, obviously I will continue to follow Battlefield 5 and I'll keep my fingers crossed that it will make the comeback that we all deserve. I'm super excited about the new Operation Metro style map that's coming out, as I think that type of tight, intense map will do wonders for this game. But for the meantime, I just don't think I can make many more videos on the game that aren't going to be whining and bitching about the state of it. Besides, it can't be much fun for you guys to watch either. Anyway, I'd just like to finish by thanking all of you who watch these videos. It's amazing to me that I have at least 100 to 150 people who actively watch all of my content, and many others who dip in and out. But I want to ask you guys a massive favour. I've been trying to promote my content everywhere I can think, but it's really hard to do it on certain platforms, as self-promotion often feels beggy and it rightly seems to get on people's nerves. So as you guys have watched this video right to the end, I would love it if you could just tell 2 or 3 friends about my channel and get them to comment on this video who sent them here. I will collect all of the names in the comments and say a personal thank you to each of you in my next video. I honestly haven't felt this motivated for a project in years, and I'm enjoying making this content for you guys and the conversations that I have with you, and I'd love to continue to grow. Anyway, that's about it from me today. Thanks again. I'm Average Joel. Peace.